Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the another lecture of atomic structure. Myself, Suman Singh. So, in the last class, we were discussing about the Bohr model of atom. So, in that model, we have calculated the radius of the Bohr orbit. Okay. So now, and we were discussing about the calculation of the energy of an electron. Okay. So we will see that what we have done in the last lecture. We will continue that one. So now, when we are talking about the energy of the energy of an electron in a Bohr orbit, how we will explain this? So always keep in mind that the energy of an electron at infinity is arbitrarily assumed to be zero. Okay, and this state is also called zero energy state. Okay, now when the electron moves and come under the influence of the nucleus, it does some work and spend its energy in this process. Okay, so thus what we can say that the energy of an electron decreases and become negative, and this negative sign indicate that the electron is bound to the nucleus. Now, as we know that the potential energy of the electron at a distance of r, suppose that at a distance of r the electron is at a distance of r, then the potential energy of that of the electron at a distance of r from the nucleus will be equal to the work done in moving that electron from infinity to the point. Okay, at a distance of r from the nucleus. So once again I will repeat this: the potential energy, whatever the potential energy of the electron will be there at a distance of r from the nucleus, will be equal to the work done in moving the electron from infinity to that point at a distance of r from the nucleus. So what we can say, total energy of the electron is what? Sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. And we know that kinetic energy due to the motion of electron is what? Half mv square, where m is what? Mass of the electron, and v is what? Velocity. So we can say that kinetic energy is what? Half mv square, or which will be equal to z e square by 2r, as we have learned that. And since what? Mv square is equal to z e square by 2r, right? Now next, so from here, and we know that potential energy was what? Potential energy was equal to work done, which is equal to integration of f dr, which is where f was Coulombic force, right? So in this way we can write like this: potential energy is equal to minus z z e square by r. Okay, minus z e square by r. So now what we can say, potential energy will be what? It will be equal to z minus z e square by r. And we know that since total energy is what? En, as you can see here, En is what? Kinetic energy plus potential energy. So we will write like this: kinetic energy is z e square by 2r minus potential energy will be potential energy is what? Minus z e square by r. So we will get this: En is equal to half z e square. Okay, so this half z e square we can write like this, that the total energy, since potential energy is what? This one, right? Z e square by r. Z e square by r is this one, we can write like. So from this equation you can write like this, right? You can see here, from this equation, can we write like this: total energy is what? It is equal to uh, minus half of potential energy. Since you can see potential energy is what? Minus z e square by r, right? We can write like this, or we can write like this: potential energy divided by 2 minus potential energy divided by 2. We can write like this: total energy. Now if suppose we can also, if we can write like this, then we can also write like this: total energy, sorry, kinetic energy. We can also write like this: kinetic energy is what? It is equal to minus of total energy. So in this way we can conclude this. So now after this, what we will do, we will just put the value of r. What we can see here, by substituting the value of r, we will get the energy of electron in nth orbit. Okay, so now what we have done, we have put the value of r what we have calculated in the last class. You can see what we have done, we have put this value here. Okay, so when we have put this value here, so or we can write like this also. When we have put this value here, we will get what, when we will substitute the value of mass, suppose we will take the mass of the electron, charge in electron, and after that h, that is Planck constant, and the value of pi. You can see here, by substituting the value of m, e, h and pi in the equation, we will get this equation in electron per volt. Okay, or we can also, when we, or if we are calculating in kilocalories, then we will get this value. If we are calculating in kilojoule per mole, we will get this value. Or we can get, if erg per atom, we will get this value, or joule per atom, we will get this value. Okay, so now from this value, by equating this value, we can easily calculate the energy of an electron. So if someone asked to find out the energy of an electron, energy of electron of the hydrogen in first orbit, so what we will get, if we suppose E1 for first orbit, if we are taking E1, then when we will calculate this, we will put value here. When we will put value here, okay, at that time we will get what, minus 13.6 electron volt. Okay, and for E2, if we are asked to calculate for E2, we will get minus 3.4 electron volt. Like this we can easily calculate the energy of the electron, in an hydrogen atom. Okay, so this was all about the calculation of energy. Now after calculating this, we will see, first we will derive the Rydberg equation. It is written, right? We will see afterward. We will first see how to calculate the velocity. So for velocity, for calculation of velocity is very easy, as we have known that angular momentum mvr is what, nh by 2 pi. So as you can see here, mvr is equal to what, nh by 2 pi. So from here we will get the value of v, which will be v is equal to nh by 2 pi mr, right? Now again we will put the, in place of this r, we will place the value of r here. As you can see, we have placed the value of r here. So when we will place the value of r, we will get the final equation, this one. In this way we can calculate the value of v also, or by substituting, what we will do after, when we will get this value, what we will do, we will substitute this value, we will put the value of pi, and we will put the value of e, electron, charge of electron, and after that when we will put the, substitute that value of pi, e and h, what we will get, we will get this equation. This is called the velocity of electron. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the velocity of the electron, the first orbit of hydrogen atom or second orbit of hydrogen atom, in this way. Okay, so this was all about the velocity of hydrogen atom. Now this, what we have, you can see here, explanation of hydrogen spectrum by Bohr theory. This one and this Rydberg constant we will see in one go only. Okay, we will see by combiningly. So now using our quantum theory of radiations, okay, Bohr has given an explanation. Okay, we are defining, we are talking about Rydberg constant. Okay, so what is Rydberg constant, we will see that. So by using the quantum theory of radiation, Bohr has given an explanation for the appearance of spectral lines in the hydrogen spectrum. Okay, so what he says, that when an electric discharge is passed through a hydrogen gas, okay, whenever we are passing an electric discharge through a hydrogen gas, which is filled in a discharge tube at a very low temperature, what will happen, the molecule of hydrogen will break into atom. Okay, the molecules of hydrogen will break into atoms. Suppose I have given you one example, right? This one, suppose this is the container, and in this container we have placed the hydrogen molecule. When we are providing a charge here, when we are providing a charge here at a very low temperature, temperature is very low, pressure is very low, sorry, pressure is very low, then this hydrogen atom, which is H2, suppose it will break into hydrogen H and H, like this, single atom. Okay, so this hydrogen will break into atom. Now when this atom, hydrogen atom, what it will do, it will absorb energy from the electric spark, whatever the electric spark which is generating here, whatever the electric spark is generating in this container, okay, through this electrode what we have placed here, through this electrode, whatever the electric spark is producing. So this electric spark, from this electric spark, the hydrogen atom, the hydrogen molecule which has break into atom, these hydrogen atoms will absorb that energy from the electric spark, and and it will get excited. Okay, after absorbing the energy from the electric spark, it will get excited. When it will get excited, the electron shift from the level energy level 1, which is called the ground state energy level, to the different energy level, just like energy level 2, 3, 4, or 5. Suppose it was in, first of all, it was in ground state. After that, after absorbing the energy from this electric spark, it will jump to the level of 2, 3, 4, or 5, like this. Okay, it will jump. So ground level to the different higher energy level like 2, 3, 4, etc. Depending upon how it will depend, it will depend on the amount of energy absorbed by the atom of hydrogen. Now the shifting of an electron from energy level 1, which is the ground state, to higher energy level, suppose this is a ground state and this is a higher energy level, so shifting of electron from here to here, okay, from here to here, this is suppose ground state and this is excited state. Okay, the shifting of electron from level 1, this is ground state, to a higher energy level, higher energy level, this can be represented by like this. We can represent also like this: one is shifting from one energy level to 2, from ground level to 2, or from the ground level, ground state, it is shifting to the energy level 3, or from the ground state it is shifting to energy level 4. Like this we can denote. Okay, now again, after that what will happen, when the electron, I have also explained you earlier, this one also again I am explaining you. Now when this electron reaches in a higher energy level, it is said to be excited state. As I have told you, it will, when it will reach to higher energy level, it will be said as excited state. And what will be the and hence what we can say that, and hence the tendency to come back to one of the lowest energy state, or even the lowest energy level, after a short interval of time, after what will happen, we can say that when it will reach, once it will reach in the excited state, after some time it will release its energy and come back to again to the ground state. Okay, so when this electron in the excited state come back to the lower energy level state, it will emit some energy. Okay, when it will return from here to here again, after that, like this, if it is returning from 4 to 1, or 3 to 1, or 2 to 1, again when it is returning, at the time of returning they will generate and they will emit some energy, as which he has absorbed earlier. Okay, so whatever the energy it will emit in the form of photon of light, and each photon of light, whatever it will emit, will have a specific frequency. Okay, and what we can say, and hence the specific wavelength, means whatever the energy he will release, that energy will be in the form of photons, and that photons will have different frequencies and different wavelength. Okay, now, what we can say that the spectral lines of different series is observed in the emission of spectrum of hydrogen is due to what, why we are seeing a different series of a spectral emission of spectrum in the hydrogen. What we can say, what why we are seeing that spectral lines of different series is absorbed, due to the it is absorbed due to the emission spectrum of hydrogen is due to the emission of the energy of the photon in of different wavelength. Okay, why we are seeing the spectacle line, we can see the spectacle line because when the electrons is jumping to the ground state, at that time he is releasing energy, and that energy has a different wavelength, and because of that different wavelength, when the excited atom of hydrogen atom come back to the lower energy level, we can see the spectacle line of different series. Okay, in the spectrum of hydrogen. Now again, what we can say, that we can say like this: the greater the energy liberated, shorter will be the wavelength, and hence what we can say that greater is the frequency of the radiation emitted. Okay, so now suppose what we will see that suppose electron is jumping from the higher energy level n2. Suppose higher energy level. Okay, suppose it is jumping from the higher energy level n2. Okay, with energy e2. energy is suppose Energy is suppose e2. Okay, higher energy level n2. Suppose with that time the energy was suppose e2 to the lower energy level, to the lower energy level, which is n1. At that time its energy is suppose e1. Okay, e1. So during this process of jumping, some energy is emitted. Okay, and some energy is emitted. That energy is in the form of an spectacle lines, and the magnitude of the emitted energy is will be equal to the difference of e2 minus e1. Okay, what I will let me repeat again. During this process, whatever some energy will release. Okay, some energy will be emitted, and that energy will be in the form of spectacle lines. Okay, spectral lines, and the magnitude of the emitted energy will be equal to the difference of this e2 minus e1. So what we can write, e2 minus e1, which will be equal to h mu, or we can say that energy liberated. Okay, I hope up to this you have understood this. So you can see here e2 minus e1 is h mu. So as what I have told you, when it was jumping from higher energy level, its and a higher energy level was n2, means when we are calculating for e2, at that time n will be what, n2, right? And when we were calculating for e1, at that time n will be what, n1, right? So now we will put this value here. As you can see that we will put this value here in place of n1. In the first case, when we are calculating for e2, we have put this n2 here, and when we are calculating for n1, we have put n1 here. Okay, so now by subtracting this equation, we will e2 minus e1, we will get this value, okay. Now again, we will, what we can write, since what we know that this one, e2 minus e1 is what you can see here, e2 minus e1 is h nu, right? And this, in place of mu, what we can write, c by lambda. Okay, or we can write like this, h c 1 by lambda. Since 1 by lambda is what, wave number, we know that, all of you, I think you all know that it is wave number. So we can write like this, h c mu bar in place of 1 by lambda, right? So you can see here they have put like this, as you can see here. Okay, so mu bar is what, e n2 minus e n1 by ch. Now when we will substitute this value, we will get this equation. You can see here this equation. In this equation, when we this portion is called, this equation is similar to Rydberg equation. Okay, as you can see here, this one here. Okay, and in place of this value, we have put r here, this, right? This r is what, this is the Rydberg constant, which is this one, 2 pi square m z e to the power 4 g c h cube. Okay, so this was all about your Rydberg constant. Now when we will when we are discussing about this, when we were discussing about this Lyman series and Pascal series, and so how it is obtaining Lyman series, as I have already explained you, but once again let me define you. When we are talking about this Lyman series, the various spectacle lines of this series are obtained how it is obtained when the electrons jumped from the second, third, or fourth mm, or any other higher energy level. When the electron jump from second, third, fourth, or any higher energy level to the first orbit, you can say that when it is jumping from 2 3 4 to first orbit, or we can first energy level, sorry, when it is jumping from second, third, and fourth energy level to first energy level, at that time it will come in the UV region. Okay, it will be in the UV region. So that is called Lyman series. Again, when it is jumping from 2 3 4 in second energy level, at that time it will obtain Balmer series, which will be in the visible region. And after that, again, when it will jump from 4 5 and 6 to third energy level, then it will obtain Pascal series, which will be in the infrared region. Again, when it is if it is jumping from 6 7 to infinity, from infinity it is jumping to suppose 5, so it will be what? Profound series. So I hope all of you have understood this. So now in the next, what we can conclude, we can conclude the merits and demerits of Bohr orbit. Okay, so what we can say that when we are talking about the merits and demerits of Bohr orbit, we can say that Bohr model was we can say that Bohr model explain the stability of the atom. Okay, number one. Next is the electron is revolving in a stationary object, does not lose energy, and hence remain in an orbit forever. This thing is explained by the Bohr. You can see here this one. In the next theory, what he has explained, Bohr theory successfully explained the atomic spectra of hydrogen, as you can see here. Again, next is what this theory not only explain the hydrogen spectrum, but also explain the spectrum for one electron species such as He plus, Li2 plus, or Be3 plus. What I have told you, Bohr orbit is what it is for the single electron system. So you can see here. Next is what the experimental determination frequency of spectral lines are in the close agreement with that of the calculated by Bohr theory. Whatever we have calculated with the Bohr theory, that is exactly similar to that of the determined by the frequency determined by the spectral lines. Now again, Rydberg constant, we can we have easily calculated the Rydberg constant, okay, from the for hydrogen, as we have seen now. So this was all about the merits, or we can say that advantages, or we can the achievement we have got from the Bohr model. Now we will see the limitations. They also have so many limitations. Just like this, number one limitations was the Bohr model failed to explain the spectra of multi-electron system. As I have already told you, the Bohr model is just for a single electron system, not for a multi-electron system. So it has failed there in that place. After that, it could not explain the fine spectra of atomic spectrum. This one also he can't explain. It can't explain the Zeeman effect and Stark effect. Zeeman effect and Stark effect is what, whenever whenever if there is a spectral lines is there, and when these spectral lines are under the influence of the magnetic field, it is splitted into fine lines. Okay, that effect is called Zeeman effect. And again, when these spectral lines are influenced in electric field, at that time also it will split into small into the fine line. At that time, when it is in the under the influence of the electric field, that is called the Stark effect. So he could not explain this. Okay, and after that, Bohr theory predict the definite Bohr theory predict definite orbit for revolving electron. It is against the wave nature of electrons. Okay, this thing also who had not explained. Now again, after that, he could not explain Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So this one we will learn what is Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Okay, so this was all about the limitations of Bohr model of atom. So in the next class, we will see Sommerfeld atomic model and Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Till that, thank you.